former ESPN host, Sage Steele, says her Biden interview was entirely scripted by networks execs. Every single question. Rob, do you have the clip of this when she says this? Go ahead.
Day in sports, opening day for America's national pastimes.
This was about 2 months after he took office. That was an interesting experience in its own right because it was so structured, and I was told, you will say every word that we write out. You will not deviate from the script and go. To the word, like every single question was scripted, gone over dozens of times by many executives, editors and executives. Absolutely. I was on script and was told not to deviate. It was very much, this is what you will ask, this is how you will say it. No follow-ups. No follow-ups. Next. I knew that this was a lot bigger than just the wonderful editors that I worked with. This went up to the fourth floor, as we said, that we're all the bosses, the top executives, the decision makers are the president of our company.
Adam, do you have a problem with this?
Where they all work.
Do you have a problem with this? So Sage Steele, ESPN, these are the 6 questions you ask. You cannot even say, how do you feel about that? What do you think about that one time? How about the fact that some Americans feel that when you say, if I don't vote for you, you're not black? Do you think it's fair for you to make that kind of an accusation? Do you think there's nothing like that can be asked? What do you think about the network forcing you to ask every single question the way they put it?
So I'll give you 3 responses.
Go for it.
Am I shocked that this is after he was elected, correct? What she said? 3 months after he was elected?
Yeah.
Am I shocked that the Biden administration is going to want posed, queued up questions? Not in the least. Am I shocked that ESPN is not trying to, owned by Disney,
rock the boat?
Trying to rock the boat and piss off the administration for whatever reason? No. The third thing is Sage Steele. That's on you, sweetheart. Like, you can make your own decisions as a journalist. You could say, sure, I'll co-sign this, whatever you want me to do, I will do. Or you could say, yeah, I don't operate that way. Like, PBD, how often does someone tell you what are the questions you're going to ask and I want to know the script? And how often would you even listen to them? I'm going to guess 0.
What?
Right?
When
if a DeSantis comes, or a Vivek comes, or a Bob Iger comes.
No.
There's 0 script.
No, we don't do that.
Exactly. That's my point. So she made the decision, and she's great. She's awesome. She made the decision to say, okay, whatever you want me to do.
There's a difference between me and her, though, because I am running a business. So for me, and this is, even when I started my YouTube channel from small, we never, ever sent questions to people. Never. I got to tell you, I don't know if we've ever sent questions to people, ever.
Right.
However, at one time when I had Bush at our event, remember the first time we had Bush at George Bush at the event? 2019, and it was an event with him and what was it? Kobe and all those guys. Yeah. The Bush administration, when we had him on, there was a list of questions to go through because, he gets a lot of heat and hate. They gave the questions, and then when he and I were on the stage, I asked the questions that I wanted to ask as well. And he gave information that was out of control. He gave the information. Like, he told a story one time about the fact that he poured all the whiskey and alcohol. Do you remember that? Were you at this event or no?
No, but I saw the video.
Yeah, when he's like, well, I poured all the alcohol on, and I was an alcoholic, and I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? I'm wasting my life. I'm not being a good father. The guy was ridiculously open when he talked, right? Here's a question, though. When you think about this. Who was he on recently? He wasn't on Seth Meyers. Is it Seth Meyers he was on? If you see the Seth Meyers clip he's on, we don't need to play it right now. You'll notice he's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
And you'll notice he's reading what they want him to say,
He's
right?
pretty cool.
Whatever, he puts the glasses on. And his marketing team, you got to give him a lot of credit for how brilliant they are and how to hide what he's doing. Seth is asked the question. They've told him that's the skit we're going to play. And he plays it, and it, does what it does. Everybody reacts to it, right? Do you know what the difference is with him and his opponent? You know what his opponent does?
Talks for an hour and a half.
Do you think his opponent says, send me the list of questions and what do you want to ask?
Nope.
What do you think his opponent does? His opponent goes up and says what?
Whatever he wants.
So you know what you'll notice? There's a difference between establishment candidates and non-establishment candidates. Establishment candidates tell you what to ask them. Non-establishment candidates say, ask me whatever the hell you want to ask me.
Yep.
Let's roll. America has to choose if they want an establishment candidate or a non-establishment candidate. The fact that this happened during that time at the network with ESPN, I'm not surprised. Would you be surprised, Tom?
I'm not surprised at all. And a matter of fact, I kind of disagree with Adam on one point. I don't put it on Sage Steele. Sage Steele went to work where she was an employee under contract. And she was told how to do her job that day. And now she's coming back and very openly saying, hey, you know what? If journalism is spelled with a capital J, why can't I ask follow-ups? Why isn't this an interview? Is this a photo op? Is this just a infomercial controlled by the president? And you can see the tension she's talking about. But that day, she went to work. She was told what to do by her boss, and she did it. Was there anything illegal, unethical, immoral, or dishonest about that? No, she wasn't covering up a scandal. They were asking questions, and she's now saying, I was so surprised that there was no follow-ups and no nothing. It wasn't congressional testimony. And I respect her for now in this forum coming back saying, here, do I wish more reporters would stand up in better ways to the manipulation so that Americans would understand that there is hope for real journalism, maybe someplace, and we're not just seeing a scripted movie? I do hope that. I do hope that. But on that day, she went to work that she was told. It wasn't like she was lying about COVID.
Mm-hmm. To your point, by the way, I establishment, anti-establishment, Trump, Biden, it's like completely the polar opposite human beings. Where on Biden's side, scripted, because we all know it might not even be Biden, it's often their handlers, their agents, their publicists, their PR that are basically saying, this is how we operate. Don't ask him about this. Don't do this. It's not Biden, as you know. It's his handlers. The thing with Biden is people want him to do more interviews, talk more. Like, let's expose what's really going on here. Trump, it's the exact opposite. He's too lippy. He's too open. Some people are like,
I love it.
Just shut it up a little, buddy.
Not me.
But that's who he is. That's his personality. You're not going to stop that.
Yeah.
Totally opposite individual.
But let's not forget, for how many different interviews did we see Joe Biden having cue cards and photographers, Pat, used to take photos. It would say, stand up now.
Wait for applause.
Wait for applause. Look left. Don't shit in your pants. It's not as if it's a secret. And that's why, and you nailed it, when the establishment is the they. When Joe Biden's sitting there looking lost and they go, hey, answer this question. And he goes, I can't. They said that. That's what makes Donald Trump say whatever the hell you want about Trump, bro. He is such a boss because for an hour and a half and would go into those briefing rooms and go off the cuff. And yeah, he was a little brash. Yeah, he talked shit. That's what New Yorkers, but I respect that 1,000 times more than this. No, I can't. And the moment the questions are done, those handlers at him, do you hear him in the White House? Everybody get
Turn
out.
to your right
Don't
and shake hands with a
and
ghost.
Sit there and smile.
By the way, if you notice, when Stephen A. was on CNN, you know what he put in his profile on the bottom?
What?
Stephen A. YouTube show. He didn't put First Take. He put Stephen A. YouTube show. Okay.
Wow. What?
So, yeah, if you go back and look at the profile at the bottom.
I didn't even notice that.
Well, go ahead and play it.
Yeah, in the Chiron.
And go a little bit more. Fast forward. Okay, keep going. First host take, and then keep going. YouTube.
Oh, YouTube host,
right?
Stephen. Oh,
so,
wow.
but where I'm going with this is when I first went to ESPN and I was interviewing him, his handler 50 times telling me, don't ask Stephen A. anything about politics.
His handler said that.
50 times.
Yes.
What?
He said, if you do, we're going to cut the interview.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
Exactly.
But guess who didn't know about it?
Him?
He didn't know about it.
Oh.
Yep.
So it wasn't his call. They were saying that. He would have played ball. They were worried because they knew he answers the question because they can't control him.
Wow.
So it wasn't a he thing. It was an ESPN thing.
Gotcha.
That's the difference. But
the handler thing is such an important thing because those guys, that's their cash cow. God forbid he gets canceled. God forbid he gets fired. God forbid his contract's expired. His agent, his publicist, his PR, everyone's done with.
I have a handler. It's Kelly. She goes, Vinny, don't say the F word.
Exactly.
And that's all I do.
And that's why
I love her.
But the handler thing, the establishment, the anti is so important because Biden, we all know, is coddled and handled to the extreme. With Trump, Ain't nobody handling that dude. He's gonna.
I love that, but don't you? Isn't that refreshing? Yeah,
For
he's a little out there.
yes. A lot of people don't.
Because a lot of
appreciate that.
people are soft, Adam. I personally just like when Stephen A. was like, yeah, just he's not presidential. With all the shit that they did to him, he has a freaking get out of jail free card to talk as much shit as he wants from what they did from 2016 to all the shit to right now.
We get it.
Let
You're
him
voting
go.
for Trump.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go.
I think your community has a lot of influence over you. A lot of influence over you. If you notice when certain people who come in a caged environment, controlled environment, when they're around us, what happens?
They let it rip.
They love it.
They absolutely love it.
I agree.
It's just like, let's talk, let's boo. They're protected, they're safe, and you can tell it in their mannerisms on how they are.